Why TBC? What's the deal? So I was just sitting here thinking, man, like everybody knows my position. If you follow my channel, you know my position about me wanting an undisputed champion. Because for me as a fan, that lets me know who the best guy at the division is. That's just the way I look at it. Because that way, there's nothing to do about your opinion about who's the best or trying to crunch a whole bunch of numbers together and put resumes together. Whoever has all the belts and is beating all the contenders, that's the best guy. That's the way I look at it now. With that said, for me, that's, simplicity. But for some people, they don't look at it like that. They look at it like, you know what? Let's forget that. Yes, that is the norm for some fans, but the way other fans look at it, like, look, let's let there be four champions, and let's have four champions in a division and let's be cool with it. So have four champions and then have four sets of 10. So 40 fighters that are contenders. And some of these fighters are in the other sanctioning bodies top 10 sometimes. But okay, so you're going to have 30 to 40 fighters, that are contenders along with the four champions. Now, looking at it from that standpoint, as far as, wanting to see a whole bunch of matchups, yes, I guess you can look at it like that, but at the same time, some people think we need to spread the love in boxing and let there be more champions and let guys take their belts to their sides of the world, whether it's a European fighter or American fighter. Let them take their titles to where they are and, let their homeland and let that fighter live off that title and be their champion for their community or for their country. A lot of people feel that way, so I'm just trying to look at it at both sides. But even looking at it like that, that just, I don't know, man. That's just the authenticity of that as far as saying somebody's a champion is just, it doesn't fit to me, It's kind of like when I was a freshman in high school. Okay, so I'm gonna take this way back. This my freshman year was 95, 96 school year, right? Yep. 95, 96. Okay. My freshman and sophomore year, I played varsity basketball, and in the state, when it came to the state tournament time in Minnesota, they would have a Sweet 16. It'd be the top 16 teams in the state, and then they would meet in the state tournament. It'll be big schools. Some schools had 2,000 kids. Some schools that made it to the tournament had 900 kids. Some schools had 2,500 kids. It's just whoever got there, and, went like that. Now, usually the big schools will usually win the title. But with that said, at least you knew who the best teams were. I mean, just to make it to the Sweet 16 was something great at that level, when you make it to the state tournament. So that's 9th and 10th grade, right? So then by my junior year, the Minnesota State High School League changed the rules and said, you know what? We're going to divide this up by four now. It's going to be four classes, 4A, 2A, 3A, and 1A. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4A, right? So then what they did was they said each class will have their own state tournament. Now, it was always like that. It was always a 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A school because it went by the size of your school. If you had like 500 kids or lower, you were a 1A school. If you 2,000 or more, you're a 4A school. So it went by your size. So now they said, you know what? The 3A and 4A teams are always winning it, which they thought. And all it was just like a decade of dominance. It wasn't like it was like that for years and years, decades and decades. It was just one decade. And I guess people wanted to change it. But anyways, they changed it to 4 state champions. So I've always had this type of thinking of, nah, we need one champion. Even when I was participating in a sport that was set up kind of like the way boxing is set up with the 4 belts or multiple belts. It was weird to me then as a high school kid looking at it playing basketball, like, hold on, this is going to be 4 state champions next year? What? This doesn't make any sense. What do you mean 4 champions? Like, no, there's 1 state champion. So out of, decades and decades, 80, 90 years of high school basketball being around, or, they wanted to change it. I ain't gonna say 90 years, but they wasn't going to change it. So I don't know, man. Just having a whole bunch of champions just doesn't make any sense to me. I like to have one champion because the only thing we're going to do is sit here and debate about who's the best of the four champions. Well, you know what, man? If they would fight each other, I think this would happen. Like, why are we going to make this more screwed up than it has to be? I mean, it's already a treacherous safari, just, you know what I mean? Just getting these dudes to fight their mandatories and their number one contenders, let alone trying to get them to unify and be undisputed. I don't know, man. But yeah, this kind of reminds me of just high school. I'm just sitting here thinking about that, like, damn, now that I think about it, I remember when I was in high school, it was like that with playing basketball. Four champions. What? That's crazy, man. But yeah, so what do y'all think, man? Is it just like, should we share the wealth? And even the coaches, and there were some coaches and players that were, for the four state champions, because they were like, look, more guys will get recruited, which I was like, that doesn't make any sense. If you're a good enough Division I, Division II ball player and get recruited, you're going to get recruited. Yes, winning the state championship look good on your resume, but if you drop in 30, and your team is winning, but you just didn't win state, you're still on the, you're still most likely a legit player. I've seen guys on state championship teams that, wasn't better than the other guys that didn't play for teams that even made it to the state tournament. So just like in boxing, man, the same shit goes for boxing. If you're good enough to be champion, you'll be a champion. Some of you may think, no, man, there was great fighters that, never won a championship. Howard Davis Jr., yeah. Look, you could say Howard Davis Jr. was one of the best amateurs of all time. You can say when he got to the pros, he just couldn't win a world title. He's still a great fighter. That's still somebody I would want my son to get. If he was teaching boxing, I want my son to learn from him. Just like if he was a champion. See, that should be the glory of trying to be champion, man. Is if you might and you might not. Now, I'm not saying I want an injustice like what happened to, Ray Robinson and Archie Moore, for these guys not to get title shots, 7, 10, 12, 13 years in their career. I'm not saying that. But make the champions fight their mandatories and contenders, and you rise up the ranks. And I know the rankings can be manipulated and payoffs and shit like that. But if you rocking and rolling and you fighting on TV, man, and people know you deserve that shot, you're going to get it sooner or later. Because if a whole bunch of motherfuckers just undefeated, they're going to make the motherfuckers fight each other. Everybody that's undefeated doesn't deserve to be champion. People just have this notion of like, there should be 4 or 5 champions to give to all these undefeated, glossy record fighters. No, fight the other undefeated guys and let's take each other's O's. I don't know why TBC. I'm just kicking it with y'all, man. Just talking about all these champions. What do y'all think about this? Do you think there should be 4 champions? And I'm looking at it like this. If we're going to do 4 champions, why not just do 10 champions? And I'm not even being sarcastic. Why not do 10 champions? It's funny, like, even when I try to be sarcastic, I'm like, man, let me not have any ideas. Like, I remember I said at Kodo, this was before the Gill fight. Because he won the title at 159, defended it at 157, and now defended it. When the Cotto and Canelo was first announced, I was like, look, man, he going to defend it against Canelo at 154.1. What he ended up doing, defended at 155. So sometimes I use sarcasm, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but let's just have 10 champions. Seriously, let's just give everybody a shot. Shit, one of us can be a champion. Let's make a YTBC bill. Let's all put money up and come up with our own organization. Let's just have 10 champions. Seriously. That all recognize each other from the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Let's just have 10 champions. You know, I don't know, man. Why just four? Let's just have 10. Spread the wealth. Let everybody be a champion. Let everybody have their glory. And I'm not, and maybe that'd be better for the sport. Because a lot of fighters and a lot of fans and promoters, they don't really care about these belts, man. That's why, for me, just being a guy that's a traditionalist, and I like, I want to see Undisputed and things like that. Maybe that's corny to the fighters nowadays. Like Undisputed, like, man, why even go through that trouble? Like, I'll just get a belt, should get my TV time. And now I think being undefeated is more important than the belt. I think it's the 4 belts and then being undefeated. And it seems like being undefeated holds more weight than even having a title. Quillen let go of his title. I mean, guys are letting go of titles, and they're usually like the undefeated guys. I'm not saying all the time, so don't leave a bunch of examples of guys with losses that gave up their belt. I'm just saying it usually are undefeated guys that do shit like that because they know they still got their zero intact. Again, the belts don't mean shit because fighters don't make them mean anything. Get 12, 11 defenses behind that motherfucking belt. Now it means something. If you get the IBF and then just let it go, then the other fighter get it, win it, defend it once or twice, then let it go, and it just keeps doing that, then it's just like, the girl that's getting banged by the whole basketball team. It don't mean nothing. Like, man, she don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of them type of situations where it's just the belt, it don't mean shit because nobody's making them mean anything. Bernard Hopkins made the middleweight titles mean something. He was proud of that shit to come to the ring with 3 or 4 titles on. He was proud of it. Tyson would come in that ring with, 1 around his waist, 2 around his neck. Like, he loved defending them titles when he had them. I don't know, y'all. Things change, I guess I need to catch up with the times, but I guess I got an old soul when it comes to some of the things, some of the traditions in boxing that I just still hold on to. But what do y'all think? YTBC, I'm out.